Do you have a backup for your website? I'm always very sad when people come to me needing help and they're coming to me because their website has been completely lost. So let me share with you the three reasons, the top three reasons why you need to be creating backups for your website and my number one favorite WordPress tool for creating great backups that always keep us out of trouble. Number one, sometimes updates don't go as planned, right? With WordPress, we're updating our websites regularly. I'm sure you're updating your website regularly, right? And sometimes the plugins and WordPress core don't always mesh when we update. If we create a backup before we update, no biggie. We can just restore that backup. Number two, hacking. A lot of people don't understand that every single website, no matter how small, whether it's storing data or not, is a target for hacking. If your website is hacked, one of the quickest ways to recover is to, you got it, restore a backup. And let's talk about billing issues. This also happens more than people care to admit. Whether it's because the credit card you had on file is no longer valid, like it expired, or maybe it's that you didn't have funds in your account at the time your hosting tried to charge you, then your hosting account gets deleted. And it doesn't really matter how it happens, it's still a problem. What makes that one even worse, which can also be true with the hacking, is that your backup that your host may have been creating for you is also now gone. It's the number one reason why you need to make sure that you have a backup you can get your hands on. So now I want to show you how to add my favorite plugin. I use Updraft Plus on every single website that I build. It's usually the first plugin I install. Uh, I see on this site, I didn't actually install it first. I was so excited about building the site, I jumped in. So what I have done here, and this is just a little pro tip, if you have any problem installing Updraft Plus or authenticating it with your cloud storage choice, you want to come back into your plugins and deactivate any security plugin, any CDN plugin, any optimization plugin that you're using, and that will usually solve the problem. I went ahead and deactivated those first since I had installed them ahead of Updraft, but honestly, the best thing to do is always install Updraft first as one of your first plugins, and then you don't forget about it. So I'm going to click Add New. We're going to do our little search for plugins. You'll just type in Updraft over here. It usually starts to auto-populate and boom, there it is. Updraft Plus WordPress Backup Plugin. I'm going to click Install Now. It's installing. And then we're going to click Activate. Then it's going to take us back over to our list of plugins. And usually it'll just show you a little sign that says click Settings. If it doesn't, the first place you want to go to is Settings. So I want to, even before I run a backup, I want to let Updraft know a few things. First and foremost, how many times a week, a month, a day I want the backup program to run. So I'm going to select weekly, and I tend to retain scheduled backups. I tend to keep at least 6. And I will also say, if you're in the process of building, like if I had installed this when I should have, which was the very first day I put this package together, I would have actually set it to run at least daily, maybe even every few hours, so that I didn't miss out on any of my changes I was making to the site. Okay, now here's where things get really good. You'll see that we have a number of places where you can select to store your backups. So they're not just being stored out on your host, out on your server. You want to know for sure that your backup is being stored somewhere that you have access to it. I love Dropbox, so that's what I'm going to choose. But look at all the other options that you have, from Amazon services to Google Drive to dream objects to your email. Like, there's so many options. And Updraft Plus even has their own vault that's a paid option that you can choose. I'm going to go with Dropbox because it's what I use. It's what I always use for this kind of thing. As you scroll down, you'll see you have other options too of what files you want to include in each backup. If there's any extra files or directories inside your hosting that you want to add, you can add those. If there's any exclusions, you can do that too. And then once you're done selecting your settings, you can also be notified every time a backup is created. Just click Save.
You will click Complete Setup, and then you'll be asked to enter your password for Dropbox. Then you'll be brought back to this screen where you can see the settings.
Now you know exactly what tool to use to make perfect WordPress backups. Keep in mind, Updraft also will help you migrate your site if it's time to move, and there's lots of other great add-ons in the paid version of the Updraft Plus program. If you have any questions about WordPress, what plugins you should be using, or need help, feel free to give me a shout. I'm Amy Brennan at Custom Geekery. See you next time.